Alright, so let's hope that this video records better than the last one. So we're moving on to section 5.7, and this is division with polynomials. So we do have some key vocabulary that we need to look at. And the first vocabulary is numerator divided by the denominator. Okay, so numerator is always on top, denominator is always on the bottom. It's always top divided by bottom, always. That's what this one represents. Alright, we're dividing the top by whatever's on the bottom. Okay, now back in elementary school or middle school or whatever, we used the terms dividend and divisor. So the numerator is the same thing as the dividend, and the denominator is the same thing as the divisor, just in case you see these words, okay? So to divide a monomial, so remember a monomial is one term, we're going to divide each term in the numerator by whatever's on the bottom, the monomial. Okay, so an example is we have 10x cubed minus 15x squared divided by 5x. So the first thing we did was we split the fraction, okay? So we split 10x cubed and 15x squared up into two different numerators, okay? And then we put them over the same denominator. So what we do, the first thing we do is we're going to divide the coefficients, okay? So we're going to divide 10 divided by 5, okay, gives me 2. And then when we divide when we divide exponents, we subtract them. So top minus bottom, so 3 minus 2 is x squared, okay? Minus 15 divided by 5 is 3. 2 minus 1 is x. Okay, so step 1, divide coefficients. Okay, and then step 2, subtract exponents. Alright, so looking at these next examples, alright, so they're going to be kind of a doozy. We're going to split them up. So we have 3x squared divided by 3 minus 6 divided by 3. Okay, so this one's kind of easy. So we'll divide the coefficients first. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we have x squared. There is a 1 in front of that. We don't have to write it if we don't want to. Minus 6 divided by 3 is 2. Final answer. Okay. If we break this one down, we have 27x cubed over 3x. I'm going to put a 1 there because it's going to help us when we subtract. Minus 9x squared over 3x. Alright, so 27 divided by 3 is 9. x3 minus 1 is squared. Minus 9 divided by 3 is 3. x2 minus 1 is 1. We didn't have to write the exponent there of that 1, but we can if we want to. Okay, same idea. Okay, so when we split this one, so we have 15x squared y 1 divided by negative 3xy 1. So that's an x1 too. And then we have minus 21x1 squared divided by negative 3x1 y1. Okay. So when we divide, we're dividing by negative. So 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. X to the 2 minus 1 is just x. If it's the same on the top and the bottom, we can cancel them out. Okay, so those y's actually cancel out, so I'm left with a 5x anyways. So negative 21 divided by negative 3 is a positive 7. There's an x on the top and an x on the bottom, so those cancel out. 2y to the 2 minus 1 is just y. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this one. This one's going to take a while. I'm going to probably run out of room for this. So we have 24x cubed y squared divided by 8x squared y plus 16x squared y squared over 8x squared y minus 4xy cubed over 8x squared y. Okay, now we're going to simplify like each fraction. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. X cubed divided by x squared is just x. This 3 minus 2 is x1. So now we have y2 divided by y1, which is just y, plus 16 divided by 8 is 2. The x's are going to cancel out, and then we have y2 over y1, which is just y. And then minus, because we have that negative there, 4 divided by 8 is 1/2. So 2 on the bottom. And then we have y2 divided by y1, which is just y. And because it was just y, a positive y, it's going to stay on top on the numerator. So we have 1y over 2. What am I missing? Did I make a boo-boo? I did. Okay, I forgot the x. I'm sorry. I was like, wait a second, that doesn't look right. I skipped the x. Okay, so there's an x1 on top and an x2 on the bottom. So if we take 1 minus 2, we get a negative 1, which means that x actually is supposed to go down here in the denominator. Okay, I was gonna say that doesn't look that didn't look right. Okay, so if a monomial is one term and we're dividing by one thing on the bottom, dividing by a polynomial is a little bit trickier because we have to recall long division. Okay, now long division 100% is always going to work. No matter what. So it's, one of those ways that we know is always tried and true. We know it'll work no matter what. Synthetic division, which is the quick, easy, painless sort of way, will only work if the divisor is a linear factor. So the divisor has to be like x plus 3 or x minus 5 or something like that. When I say divisor, I mean like denominator. Okay, so if the denominator of the fraction is x plus 3 or x minus 5, we can use synthetic division and our lives will be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so I want you to look really quick because we're going to do a review of long division before I freak you out with long division with polynomials. So we always know it's the top divided by the bottom, okay? So in this case of polynomial long division, we have to write it like this, where the top goes inside the garage and the bottom goes outside the garage. Now, this might be a flashback to elementary/middle school, but how many times does 4 go into 3? Well, 4 doesn't go into 3, so we have to move to 37. How many times can 4 go into 37? All right, and after doing some quick math, we know that 9 times 4 is 36, so I'm going to put a 9 there. So now we're going to do 9 times 4 gives me 36. We subtract it, okay, so we get a remainder of 1. All right, and if you remember, we bring down the 3. And now we do the whole thing over again. We see 4 can go into 13 how many times? And we know 4 can go into 13 3 times because 3 times 4 is 12. And we subtract and get a 1. So we know that we have a remainder of 1. All right, and how do we write that? So we know it's the quotient. So this is the quotient. So in this case, 93 plus, because it's a positive, the remainder over the divisor. Okay, so I would probably box this. Okay, so remember the quotient is part of your answer. Your divisor is your denominator. Okay, and then the remainder is what you have left over, okay? So, polynomial long division. So to set it up, we have to insert placeholders with zeros, insert placeholders with 0 coefficients for any missing terms. When I say any missing terms, I mean we need to go in order of exponents. So x squared x coefficient, or x squared x constant, where our exponents go 2, 1, and 0. If we're missing a term, we need to put a 0 placeholder there, or else our answer will be wrong. All right? So perform the long division as you would with integers. So what I like to do sometimes is ask yourself what to multiply the first term of the divisor by in order to get the first term of the dividend. All right? Multiply, subtract. Okay, when we subtract, notice it says watch your signs. The reason why is because we need to distribute the negative all the way through. That minus sign, so I would make a note of that. Distribute. Okay. Bring down the next term and repeat the process. This is a lot of words, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean. So let's flip this over. Okay, so our first one, we have x squared minus 5x plus 8 divided by x minus 3. So the first thing I'm going to notice, or the first thing I'm going to look for is, are my terms in order on the top? Do I go x squared, x, no x? And if that's the case, then I don't have to put a placeholder for anything in under the square, or under the dividing sign, whatever that's called. So it might look a little something like this. So we're going to put x squared. I'm going to use this teal so you can see what I do with my black pen. Minus 5x plus 8 divided by x minus 3. Okay, so we know that this is an exponent of 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the x and the x squared. So right now we're going to ignore that 3. Okay, so what did I do to the x to get x squared? Well, I multiplied by x, right? X times x is x squared. Knowing that I multiplied x times x, I'm going to put an x right here. Okay, and now I'm going to distribute this x to everything on the outside of my divided sign. So x times x is x squared. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply x times negative 3, which we know is negative 3x. Okay, now when we divided on the other side, our long division, we have to subtract. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to subtract. The only problem is that minus sign has to be distributed to everything here. So this was a positive x squared, and if I throw a negative in front of it, it becomes a negative. That means that this has to become a positive. And we look going down. So x squared minus x squared, those cancel out. Those go bye-bye. All right? Then we have a negative 5x plus 3x gives me a negative 2x. All right, and we bring down our positive 8. All right, now we're going to do the whole thing again. We're going to look at this x and then negative 2x. What did I do to the x to make it a negative 2x? All right, so I multiplied x by negative 2. So I'm going to put a negative 2 here. And now I'm going to distribute the negative 2 to everything on the outside of my division sign, outside of the garage, I guess. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Okay? But remember, they have to cancel, so I'm going to subtract. Okay? So when I subtract, I have to distribute that negative to everything on the inside, so this becomes a positive 2x, and this positive 6 becomes a negative. So negative 2x plus 2x, these cancel out. And then 8 minus 6 is 2. There is nothing that I can do to this x to make it equal 2. Okay? That means that this is the remainder. So when I divide, my answer is going to look like this. X minus 2, that's my remainder, so I'm going to put a plus 2 divided by whatever I actually divided by, so x minus 3. That's a pretty wacky looking box. Alright, so looking at number 6. Check and see that your exponents on the top go in order. So we have 3, 2, 1, 0. Perfect. Now look at the bottom. Do I have the same order on the bottom? So 2, 1, 0. That means I don't have to put a placeholder anywhere. Life is dandy, so we're set. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this out. So we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 1 on the outside. And on the inside, 6x cubed minus 11x squared minus 14x plus 3. Alright, so remember, when we are looking at how to divide, we're only looking at the first term, this 2x squared. Okay, so I'm going to cover that up. Sorry, my fingernail polish just started to chip. So what did I do to the 2x squared to get 6x cubed? Okay, so looking at my coefficients 2 and 6, what did I do to the 2 to get 6? Okay, or that's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. X cubed divided by x squared is x. 3 minus 2 is just a simple x. And notice that I have to keep it in line over the x. If I don't, nothing super bad will happen. It's just things will get out of order and you'll get confused. Okay? So now that I have that 3x here, I'm going to distribute it to everything that's on the outside of the division sign. Okay? So 3x times 2x squared is 6x cubed. 3x times 5x is negative 15x squared, and 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Okay? But I need to flip the signs. So this becomes negative, this becomes positive, this becomes positive. Okay, so when I do that, this first term, they cancel out. So negative 11x squared plus 15x squared gives me 4x squared minus 11x plus 3. Okay, now we start the whole process over again. 4 divided by 2 is a positive 2. X squared divided by x squared, well, they cancel out, so we just have a plus 2. So now I'm going to multiply this whole polynomial on the outside by 2. So 2 times 2x squared, 4x squared, minus 10x minus 2. Change all your signs. Once you put that negative there, plus. So we have negative x plus 5. This right here, I'm just going to write an r, so that's my remainder. Okay, so my answer to this problem, 3x plus 2 plus negative x plus 5 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 1. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at number 7. First thing I noticed about number 7 is it goes from an x cubed to an x. So we completely skip the x squared. Because we skip the x squared, we're going to have to put a 0 in for x squared when we write it out. So we're going to put our x minus 5 on the outside. So 2x cubed plus 0x squared. You could also put a minus 0x squared there too. It's not going to matter. Okay. Minus 3x plus 2. So 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute 2x squared times x, which is 2x cubed minus 10x squared. When I subtract, I flip the signs. So these cancel. 10x squared minus 3x. 10x squared divided by x is just a positive 10x. So 10x squared minus, oh, this is going to be fun, minus 50x, oh dear. So we're going to change our signs again. Minus plus, sorry. 47x plus 2. 47x divided by x is a positive 47. That's really fun. 47x. 47 times negative 5 is 235, or negative 235. Change your signs. So we have 237 as our remainder. So I'm going to save us some time because I don't want to rewrite it. 237 divided by x minus 5. Okay, I feel like we did this one already. Did we do this one? No. Okay, it just felt like we did. Okay, so in terms of number 8, notice on our numerator, we go from x cubed, x squared, x, but we don't have a constant at the very end. So when I write it, I'm going to make sure I put a plus 0. In our denominator, we go from x squared to a negative 3. That means we're skipping the x, which means we have to put a 0 in for it. So when I write it, it's going to be kind of long. So 2x squared plus 0x minus 3. So 6x cubed plus 2x squared minus x plus 0. Okay, so we look at our first term. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. X cubed divided by x squared is just x. So now we distribute. So 6x cubed plus 0x squared minus 9x. Okay, signs change. Cancels out. So we have 2x squared plus 8x plus 0. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to bring that 0 down. If we don't, we actually cannot finish the problem. Okay, which means this would be our remainder, and we know that it can't be because 2x squared can go into 2x squared. So we actually need to bring the 0 down so we can figure out what the remainder is. Okay, so speaking on that, 2x squared, what did I do to that? Like, it's a plus 1. Okay, we multiplied by 1 to get it. So when I multiply everything on the outside by 1, I get 2x squared plus 0x minus 3. Change your signs. Cancel out. And if these first terms, I should have said this when we first started. I'm sorry. If these first terms actually do not cancel out, so like in this one, if they don't cancel out, then you've done something wrong. All right, something went wrong somewhere. Okay, so going down, 8x minus 0 is 8x plus 3. That's my remainder. Over 2x minus 3. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the long one. Okay. Long division takes forever. It really does. Synthetic division. Once I show it to you, you might be like, "Are you kidding me?" It's that easy. Yes, it's that easy, but you can only use it for certain times. Okay, in certain instances. Okay. So it's only useful when we're dividing by x minus a number or x plus a number. So we could have done synthetic division on number 5 and number 7. Okay, but we didn't. So the first thing we're going to do is write the coefficients of the dividend in order of descending exponents, filling in a 0 for any missing terms. So write the coefficients of the dividend filling in 0 for missing terms. So basically from biggest to lowest, or biggest to smallest, write the coefficients. Write the opposite of the constant term of the divisor outside to the left. Okay. Bring down the leading coefficient. So that first number, bring it straight down. Okay, we multiply by the number outside and write the product under the second coefficient. Then we add and repeat the process. Okay, the number at the far right, so whatever number we have at the very end, that's our remainder. All the remaining numbers are coefficients of the quotient, beginning with the variable term whose power is 1 less than the term, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me show you, again, a lot of words for something not too difficult, okay? So we're going to take 3x squared minus 10x plus 20. So the very first thing that I did in the notes for you is I took all the coefficients. Okay, so we have our, 3, negative 10, positive 20, 3, negative 10, positive 20. Okay, I put them inside this big extra large L. Okay, notice I write the opposite of the constant term. So the constant term is a negative 2. So we take the opposite. Okay, so that's why it's a positive 2. All right, bring down the leading coefficient. So I'm going to bring down the 3. Straight up, boom. Okay, Now, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply. So 2 times 3, 6. Okay? We add, when we go down, so we add -4. So to get back up here, we multiply again with -8. We add 12. Okay, that means that this right here is my remainder. If this is the remainder, the one right next to it is the constant. The one right here is going to be the coefficient on the x. Okay? If this is the constant, this is x squared. Notice remainder, constant, x squared, x. Okay, so my answer would be 3x minus 4 plus 12 over x minus 2. Okay, so looking at examples 9 and 10, ignore that down there, okay? The guided practice. These are 2 problems we've actually already done. I just want to show you what they look like in terms of synthetic division. So we go x cubed, we skip the x squared, we go straight to the -3x and the +2. So we're actually going to put a 0 for the x squared there. So we're going to have 2, 0, -3, +2. And the opposite of -5 is a +5. So I drop the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. So I add, so 10. I multiply, so 50. Add gives me 47. Multiply 235. Sorry, 235. So when I add, I get 237. This will always be the remainder. Constant x squared. So 2x squared plus 10x plus 47 plus 237 over x minus 5. So that's what we, oh, sorry, oops, epic fail. So that's what we could have done for number 5. So you guys can go ahead and try number 10. I've already taken up 33 minutes of your time with this video. I apologize it took so long, but long division does kind of take a while. So if you have any questions, please let me know.